I am in, where am I? Medford, Massachusetts. A place called Talbourn Park, I believe. Today is March 4th, 2025. And today I wanted to make this video to talk to you about accepting yourself. And I'll tie that in with my understanding of exercise and fitness. So, when I first started exercising, when I was in early high school, obviously I didn't really know anything I didn't know what I was doing. What I was going off of was the Rocky movies. You know, I was envying Sylvester Stallone, and I was trying to look like him. You know, that was the first goal. So, kind of walk you through this whole thing. So, when I first started working out, that was pretty much my goal. And then whenever I joined the Navy, because it was my first real paycheck, I bought an online bodybuilding course. And the way that my whole situation worked out was, when I got to Japan, I was stationed in Japan, the boat had just come back from deployment. They don't like you calling it the boat, the ship. So I had 6 months to basically do whatever I want, in terms of like exercise, not just like whatever. So I went ham on this bodybuilding course that I had purchased online. It gave you all types of, exercise routines and what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, supplements, all that kind of stuff. And I was working out hard. This was it. This was my opportunity to finally look like Sylvester Stallone, And I went really hard at it too. I would wake up super early. I wake up around 4, and I go to the gym by 5, and I will work out for 2-3 hours before work. And then at the height of this, actually, I would go to the gym 2 times a day. So I would go before work, and then I would go after work. And I was doing everything that the bodybuilding course was telling me to do. I was, like I said, eating what they were telling me to eat, when to eat, supplements, how to train, when to train, how long to train, everything. And right before the 6 months was up, before we went back on deployment, I went to Guam. And that was pretty much like the height of my little bodybuilding adventure, I had thought, and this is what I want to really drive home, I had thought that I had arrived. I did it, I was getting the body that I wanted, right? I was getting this, this physique that I was after. So after Guam, we went on deployment, and that was it. Whenever I got on deployment, everything I had learned went out the window, because I simply didn't have time for it anymore. There were so many things. I was working 17 hours. I didn't have the room to store these supplements that we were taking, or that I was taking. I couldn't just eat what I needed and wanted. I had to eat what was there. I was getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. Sometimes I wouldn't even get off of work. I say I work 17 hours, and you don't get days off on deployment. They don't give you days off. At least we never got days off. So everything that I had thought that I had come to learn about exercise and fitness in that 6 months that I had strived for went out the window. It went out the window. It wasn't feasible. It wasn't realistic. It had no foundation. So I had met a guy serendipitously on deployment in my workspace who was really into like calisthenics and things. He was into Charles Bronson, solitary fitness, and Paul Wade, who created the convict conditioning books. And we worked out to that kind of stuff. We would work out in the scullery, do pull-ups in the scullery, push-ups wherever we could, things of that nature. And I was able to see for the first time that you could work out without weights and in less time. Now, this video isn't about that per se, but I'm getting to my point. After deployment was over, I got back on land, back to Japan, and now I had a choice to make. I could go back to the bodybuilding routine. I could go back to the gym and start lifting weights like I was, and it's very addicting, very hard to get off of that. It's a high. Or I could go back, I could do this new thing that I had adopted, which is pure calisthenics, and, going bare bones, that kind of thing. Now, the difference between the two is, or what I came to find, while the Navy took a sledgehammer to my ego, it was my job to get rid of the rest of it. The Navy cracked about 70% of my ego, and it was my job to whittle down what was left. So it was very hard to not go to the gym anymore, or rather to not do the bodybuilding thing. I still went to the gym, but I wasn't doing, I decided I wasn't going to do the bodybuilding thing anymore. And the reason is because I realized that my body and what I can endure is a lot more than just how I look. How you look is almost not even part of the equation. There's so much more to working out and being healthy and being fit than what you look like. And this glass sculpture that I had created when I first got to Japan before my first deployment it was a glass sculpture. It wasn't real. It had no solid foundation. It was just glass, and it shattered upon impact. So all of this led me to really start questioning, who I am and what I was doing with exercise. And the whole reason, or rather a huge chunk of why I started working on the first place and why I wanted to look like Stallone, was because I was ashamed of my body. I didn't like being small and skinny. And when I was in high school, I was 5'8" and weighed 130 pounds. And that bothered me. And people would always poke fun at my size. And that's why I did the whole bodybuilding thing. I was trying to make people appreciate me, and I was trying to make people not make fun of my physique. I was trying to make people accept me, because I didn't accept myself. And after this whole bodybuilding glass sculpture fell apart, I realized that I had to accept myself for others to accept me. It's not the other way around. I don't accept myself when others accept me. I accept myself. Others accept me when I accept myself. And that's what this whole thing taught me. The bodybuilding course was a glass statue, and it was a false foundation. And whenever I was able to, and this isn't purely about calisthenics, but whenever I was able to discover who I really was and what could really stand up to the metal of difficult situations and destruction, like when you're working 17 hours, or you don't have enough food, or you're not getting enough sleep, these are luxuries that the bodybuilding course, this false idol thing, couldn't stand up to. And I was doing it so that other people would accept me. It's not making fun of me. And I had to accept myself. So what I'm saying to you is that you have to accept yourself in order for other people to accept you. If you are constantly on guard and you're upset with people because they're making fun of you, maybe they're making fun of your weight or your size or your accent or where you're from or the color of your skin or something, you have to accept yourself first. Because there's a lot of people who do not. They don't accept themselves. And it's weird. This is something that goes beyond me in this video. But when you accept yourself, and you'll know it, it's an internal pure feeling. When you accept yourself, other people will automatically accept you. Or rather, let me put it in this way, you won't be called names anymore because you'll no longer be on guard. I was always on guard. And when somebody would say something about my height or my weight or my size, I would get freaking angry and I would get really upset and it would ruin my whole day. Because I was constantly worried about what other people were thinking. You have to accept yourself. And the best way I can explain this is through exercise and fitness. You know, for me, it was to get to where I wanted to be, I had to accept where I was and who I am. And that's why a lot of people fall off with exercise. They're trying for some sort of Adonis or Venus thing that they read in magazines of how society tells them they're supposed to look. And so they go to the gym a couple times and it doesn't work out as fast as they want and they quit. You have to accept yourself. Accept yourself. Stop trying to be something else. It's okay to look up to something. You know, to this day, I still look up to Stallone. And not just, you know, as Rocky, but as his character and demeanor and his work ethic and his drive. But I don't try to be exactly like him anymore. I don't work out to look like Stallone. I work out to better myself and to better who I am. Do you see the difference? So, I hope this video means something to you. I wanted to make this to anyone who needed to hear it. Hopefully you needed to hear it and it resonates with you. If people are bothering you, if people say something that irritates you and you know what it is, you have to accept that part of yourself. I work out to better who I am, not to be something different. I don't work out to be someone else. I work out to be the best version of me that I can be. And while I still look up to Stallone, I no longer try to be exactly like him. So, I hope this video has helped you, and I hope that this resonates with you and it's something that you can really take a bite out of and chew. So, there's no easy way to end these videos. Goodbye, you know what I mean? Like, so long, farewell. And accept yourself. Accept yourself, and the world will accept you. Not the other way around. Hey guys, real quick, I wanted to say I have 2 books online that I would love to share with you. I'm going to put the link down below. Check them out. I wrote them for you guys. One of them is on my experience in the Navy with exercise and fitness, a little bit of what I was just talking about here. And the other one is on caffeine addiction, believe it or not, particularly coffee. I know nobody wants to hear that, but it was something that I was dealing with in terms of my PTSD. So get online, check those books out, read them, leave a review. I would really appreciate it, and it helps me to be able to write more books for you and to contribute more to you guys. So thank you very much. Have a great day. I'm in Massachusetts. It's a little cold out, but it's not too bad. Have a wonderful weekend or day. Maybe it's the week.